Part 6, Edwardian, 1901 to 1915. In terms of house design, the Edwardian period continued into the reign of King George V until it was interrupted by the First World War. By the end of 1915, the war had brought house building to a halt. 1.3 million houses were built during the Edwardian period. In the expanding suburbs, the majority were still terraced. They were subject to numerous developments. These included the increasing availability of electricity and better transport. The turn of the century brought an expectation that things were about to change. A prominent newspaper editor predicted, "We are on the eve of great electrification movements." Public supplies of electricity and the telephone arrived during the reign of King Edward VII. It was also the decade of the disappearing horse, as motor buses and electric trams took over from horse-drawn transport. At first, a sort of cottage style predominated. This had many vernacular or traditional features, including half-timbering. Only at the top end of the market were the timbers structural. Spec builders often simply nailed planks to brickwork to create an Old English look. From the roof down, new houses had features such as clay tiles, gables, barge boards, dormer windows, and low eaves. Several developments produced significant designs which were widely copied. First, the Garden City movement had an immediate effect not only on house design but also on urban layout. The first Garden City was built at Letchworth. It was vernacular in style. It featured gables, low eaves, and rough-cast walls. It was intended to be a mixed development of large, medium, and small houses, and even had industrial areas. It introduced low-density housing using short terraces and cul-de-sacs. Then came the first council houses, which were also designed as cottage estates. Council houses were small houses built by local authorities for affordable rents. Hampstead Garden Suburb came next. It was intended to be another mixed development of large, medium and small. But, like Letchworth, it had to sell off plots to finance the project. The plots which were sold off became large suburban homes designed by architects. Many of the features were copied by spec builders. They mixed vernacular features such as white rough-cast and casement windows with warm red brick. On the ground floor they had projecting porches, these often aligned with the bay window. The front door came forward to the front wall. These alignments were a particular feature of medium-sized Edwardian houses. So, to summarize, the distinctive features of Edwardian terraced houses were a rectangular bay with a gable, barge boards, and a projecting porch which aligned with the bay. Increasing mechanization allowed trimmed joinery to adorn balconies and porches. Art Nouveau forms appeared on stained glass at the front. From 1905 onwards, architects such as Edwin Lutyens abandoned vernacular styles in favour of what he called Renaissance, after Sir Christopher Wren. This was a return to the flat-fronted brick style of the reign of Queen Anne, although it is often called Neo-Georgian. It was applied to large suburban houses, like these examples from Hampstead Garden Suburb. After terraced, the most numerous type of Edwardian houses were semi-detached. Edwardian semi-detached houses had similar vernacular features to terraced, such as rough-cast, casement windows, gables and barge boards. They were grouped in aligned blocks with adjacent front doors. 400,000 flats were built during the Edwardian period. Instead of a large townhouse, the rich moved into service flats in town, but enjoyed their weekends in country or suburban retreats. At the other end of the scale were working men's flats, medium-sized houses divided into a flat on each floor. In the suburbs, broader plots allowed terraced houses to have a wider hall. It could even have its own fireplace, like a reception room. The hall incorporated a staircase with a turn near the foot, which made it into a feature. The dining room was at the front, and the drawing room connected with the garden at the back. In semi-detached houses, kitchen and scullery came into the main body of the house. Upstairs there was a connecting corridor known as a landing. Edwardian interiors were lighter due to electric light and a new palette of pale colours. New types of paint included an early form of white enamel. Retailers offered whole ranges of furnishings through catalogues. At the back, services such as coal bunkers and ash bins could be discreetly located either on a paved area or in a lean-to extension. Direct access to the garden at the back made it more suitable for recreation and entertainments such as outdoor tea parties. In a radical development, speculative building for sale rather than rent began on a considerable scale in Ilford. Would this be the shape of things to come?